national best practice and standard, the average total debt to GDP ranges between 68 to 72%. And in 2024, the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, even having come from a very terrible backdrop of 2019-2020, was able to sell this country to a debt position of 61%. And so you cannot call that a bad performance. And these are the facts that we should be able to speak to as a people. And I always say, Mr. Speaker, all the things that the current administration is able to project and do, they've been there before. They could only do that because of the recovery process that this economy had been through. Mr. Speaker, let me take you to paragraph 5.6. This is the report of your committee. The committee observed that the performance of the domestic economy showed signs of recovery in 2024, largely due to the implementation of the IMF Extended Credit Facility Program. Mr. Speaker, it goes to tell us that the domestic economy recorded a real GDP growth of 5.7% for 2024, exceeding even the revised target of 3.1%. Mr. Speaker, Ivy, current account balances improved from a surplus of 1.7% of GDP in December 2023 to a surplus of 4.3% of GDP in December 2024. This is a report of the monetary policy of the Bank of Ghana. And this shows that the government at the time, in 2024 report as we are reviewing today, performed creditably. So we should stop this political propaganda syndrome that creates the impression that this country was in a dire situation. The NDC government picked it from a position that was wrong and bad. Mr. Speaker, let me take you to the 5.3. I will take you to 5.3. Mr. Speaker, so if you take the performance of this report, it is clearly indicative that the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, in 2024 had worked out a very strong economic foundation. They had laid a strong foundation that enabled you as a political party to take this country to the level that you are. Even today that you are making noise. What has PURC said to us? The increase in electricity tariff. They said that it is because of an exchange rate. They cited the exchange rate increment and also cited the rate of inflation. How can inflation be on the downturn? How can interest rate be on the downturn and still increase electricity charges? In 2025-26, cumulative, ECG has increased, PURC have increased electricity bills by almost 30%. And that cannot be a country and economy that is being well managed. The facts are there. The facts, as people see, the ordinary Ghanaian is asking, 1.5 years in your term. Honorable Afo said that 2025, the report looks promising. What has changed in the lives of the ordinary Ghanaian? What jobs have you created? The Ghanaian youth are calling for employment. They are calling for jobs. You cannot even tell us how many jobs you have created since 2025 when you came into power. And these are, check the cost of phone calls and check the services that are being served on Ghanaians. You make calls and they cut and they take your credit, and you are unable to even go anywhere for remedy. So please, Mr. Speaker, the report before us set a very good foundation that the NDC government have built on. It is our expectation that they will improve on the well-being of Ghanaians. The now inflation that is going up and the interest rates that is going up, we are praying that something is done. Because if we don't do that, then you take us to where you you inherited the situation from. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the committee, and just to end with my colleague, the House, as in your committee, unanimously never said that 2024 performance was bad. Honorable my colleague Isa said the committee agreed in unison that the 2024 report as we are reviewing was a bad one. That is inaccurate, that is not factual. The committee report only indicated that 2024 was a difficult year for the economic management of this country. Mr. Speaker, I want to challenge the NDC administration. They should focus on governance. They should focus on delivering to the people of Ghana. They should create the jobs. They should create the opportunities for industries to grow. The macroeconomic indicators are good. We all see them. But it should reflect in the pocket of Ghanaians. Let the jobs flow. Let Ghanaians who stood in the rain and voted for you get the benefit of governance. And we on this side, Mr. Speaker, our position is always to guide, to offer constructive criticisms and also provide alternatives for the development of this country. We will serve these people, we will serve the people of Ghana with our mandate that we are responsible opposition. We will criticize when need be, and at the end of the day, Ghana should be a better place for us all. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think we need to take our responsibilities when it comes to public debt management very seriously. Very, very seriously. You are all here in this country 2 years ago when we had to declare that we could not pay our debts. And we all know the implications of that decision on our economy, on people's pensions, on livelihoods. The reason why I say let's take this assignment serious is that the ultimate responsibility for managing our debt lies in the hands of this Parliament. Ultimately, the responsibility for managing public debt lies in the hands of this Parliament. We have enacted several fiscal responsibility rules to govern the management of public debt. We have enacted budget deficit rules that finance ministers must never exceed, all towards managing public debt. And ultimately, every debt, every external debt, when it is negotiated, comes to this Parliament for approval. But we have an attitude towards debt, even when it is obvious that the debt ought not to be entered into. We are very reluctant in this House to tell any finance minister that we will not approve a particular loan agreement that the minister has brought. Because we feel that, they say they are going to construct roads. The roads are going to town A, B, C, D. In the clear face of exceeding debt limits, this House will still go ahead and approve them, even though it violates the rules. And so I want us to begin to take this responsibility seriously. But this attitude where we sit in this chamber, we condone the passage of loan agreements, and several years down the line, we begin to play political football with it. Doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anybody. Ultimately, it hurts our citizens. It hurts our economy. So we need to help to make sure that any loan that is brought to us, there is actual value for money. I can assure you that this government, upon coming to office, has had to reject a lot of loans on the basis of the fact that some of them, the amounts, when you look at the amounts and you do the analysis of the loan, you will find out that only 30% of the loan amount is going into the actual thing that you are taking the loan for. You will find 20% going into buying vehicles for the comfort of those who are going to manage the project. You will find 15% going into paying consultants who are probably not even Ghanaians. You will find 10% going to some irrelevant matter. By the time you do the analysis of the loan, you'll find out that only 30-40% of it is actually going to why you are taking the loan. And yet you are burdened with 60% of the money. So we need to sit up. When finance ministers bring us loans, let's scrutinize them as a parliament. We are ready. Indeed, this government has come to reset the management of this country. And we are not afraid. We are not afraid of any form of scrutiny. We welcome it because we want this country to be run properly. It is our ambition that by the time John Mahama leaves office, he has set such a bar that even if MPP ever come, they cannot go below that bar. Ghanaians would have enjoyed good governance to a point where they will never tolerate bad governance from anybody. That is our ambition. And therefore, we are open to criticism. We want you to open your eyes as a minority. If anything misses our eye, we don't want it to miss your eye. Tell us, and we will stand with you when you are right, because we want this country to be properly governed and managed. Mr. Speaker, we don't want our finance minister to run outside the country when there's a change of government, because we would have helped him to manage the economy properly. Why? When your side, 88 of you, signed a petition asking for the removal of the finance minister, if they had listened to your side at that time, this country will not be where it is. That same minister will not be run outside the country. Your members raised the issue. They blew the alarm. They said this man is mismanaging our economy. And they signed petitions in this chamber. We were here. And he mismanaged the finances of this country. They were not listened to. I commend them, gallant members of parliament, gallant MPs. Some of them, they hounded them. They went to their constituencies. They financed people against them. And they lost their primaries. Today, those people are borne out by the facts. We are aware of what happened. So, Mr. Speaker, debt management is a matter that we should take seriously in this house.
Honorable Majority Leader, just hold it. Yes.
Right, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think we have a report on our hands to discuss, but I've copiously noted that the majority leader is digressing from what is in the report and completely digressing from it. And I'll plead with you.
Honorable Minority Leader, the divestiture that the colleague spoke about, which aspect of the report talks about the divestiture? Honorable members, this is a debate. This is a debate. This is not a comment. I do not see any limitation when it comes to debating. That's why I'm sitting down here quietly, listening to everybody. So I never limited anybody when it comes to debating. So this is a debate. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I am making a simple point that this House should sit up and hold finance ministers accountable. That's the point I'm making. That's the point. That's a simple point. And I'm referring to previous efforts to hold finance ministers accountable that failed. That's all that I'm saying. That I reckon that members on your side did make an effort to hold the finance minister at that time accountable. And then you know, a lot of them were put under pressure to chicken out.
And some were promoted.
But I'm encouraging you this time that you should be bold and hold the finance minister accountable. And that we will support you. Because we on our own will hold our finance minister accountable. We are holding our ministers accountable. Every day you come here and then you stand there and ridicule our ministers that they are not being given money to operate. Yes, it is true that they are not being given money to operate. That's true. But do you know what happened under your government? Under your government, every minister could get up any day and award contract without reference to the finance minister. That is what put government in huge debt. And then once the contractors presented the bill, the minister had to go and borrow the money to pay the contractors. That was what happened. And that is why in this government, we have imposed limitations. No minister can procure unless you have commitment authorization, which means that the finance minister has budgeted for that project. If he has not budgeted for the project, you cannot even commence procurement for that project. That way, you don't create a liability that the government will be compelled to go and borrow in order to deal with that liability. That is discipline. That is good governance. You must cut your cloth according to the size of your material. And if your economy cannot support it, ministers cannot spend simply because you want them to spend. So what we did was to cut down the number of ministries, to cut down the number of ministers, all in an effort to make sure that Ghanaians are spending within their limits. That is the level of discipline that John Dramani Mahama is injecting into the governance of this country. No external borrowing. We will borrow ultimately when we can show that we can pay for what we have borrowed. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that we are drawing lessons from past mismanagement of our public debts. And this time, we are waiting for 2025 public debt management report. When 2025 public debt management report comes, we will debate it, scrutinize it, and at that point, I'll be expecting you on this side, since you are the opposition, to pay close attention to that report and see if there is proper management of public debt in this country. If you do not scrutinize it properly, we will be compelled to show you proper management of public debt in this country. Because I'm very confident that the 2025 report on the public debt management of this country will be very revealing. It will show the contrast between an MPP government and an NDC government. It will show the contrast between John Dramani Mahama and Akufo-Addo. And Ghanaians will know that a good government has come into place. Mr. Speaker, jobs will be created if you manage your public debt properly. Managing your public debt properly is part of creating jobs. If you are hugely indebted, and all the credit rating agencies declare your economy junk, how are you going to create jobs? You are hugely indebted. The banks are collapsing, pensions are collapsing, everything is collapsing financially. How are you going to create jobs? How are you going to create jobs? So, Mr. Speaker, managing your public debt properly gives you an international image that will attract investment into your country. And through that, you can create jobs. So all these things we are doing are towards creating an economy that creates jobs. So let us see that in the light of job creation. So, Mr. Speaker, let me thank the committee for presenting the report for our consideration. And let me assure the committee that we have taken note of all the things that led us into the kind of debt crisis that we had. And we look forward to the 2025 debt report. I believe that in it we will see how we're improving as a country in the management of our public debt. But going forward, I just want to conclude on the note that this parliament must seriously scrutinize loan agreements brought before us. This government must scrutinize budget deficits. This government must scrutinize borrowing limits, because failures in all these areas will culminate in huge debts, and trust me, those who have voted for us end up paying a price. And when they are distressed, trust me, it will reflect in the kind of numbers that we saw on your side in the last election. It will reflect. So this time, if we don't do it well, it might reflect on this side. And so we are committed to making sure that we do it well. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, as many as are in favour of the motion, say aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we will try and conclude work on the Community Service Bill today. We're left with just a few clauses. So if we can take that.
Yes, Deputy Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the chairman, members of the committee are not here. And I'm looking at the committee looking at the bill for community service.
No, Chair. Nobody is here.
We don't have a representative. Thank you.
The Vice Chairman is here. In fact, I summoned the Vice Chairman because he's here. The Chairman has traveled on an official assignment to Senegal, and so the Vice Chairman is here. The committee actually has no amendments advertised. The committee has no amendment advertised. The only person who has amendments advertised is the the minority leader. And so if he's not here, we consider the amendments abandoned. Mr. Speaker, you can't advertise amendments and consistently refuse to show up to move your amendments and then delay, government business. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we should continue, and then no advertised amendments by the committee, so there's no issue.
Yes.
No, Mr. Speaker, I think we work here under consensus building. Unfortunately, the leader has to do something very critical. That's why he's not around. But to say that if he's not around, the amendments should be abandoned, it's not something.
As for that one, there are many instances that he has given an authority, and then they moved the amendment for and on his behalf.
Yes. We don't have any authority.
But the only worry is that.
Yes, but I can
say that
by tomorrow
the members of the committee are not here. Therefore, we should not progress with the business. I'm also worried about that.
Yes, but I can give you an assurance that tomorrow you will be available. Today, it's due to some uncontrolled circumstances. He couldn't be here today. But tomorrow we can finish with it.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, let's proceed with the bill. He's proposed these amendments for far too long and persistently not presented himself to move them. All of them, for most of them, have been moved on his behalf. Even when he's in the chamber, when we get to community service, he walks away and then people, take the amendments on his behalf.
Honourable members, Community Service Bill 2026 at consideration stage.
Mr. Speaker, I was pleading with you that let's just tomorrow to abandon it or to go on to something. I don't think it will help us. We have been here serving on each other's interests. And it is important that we respect what other the views are.
Clause 59, item numbered 1.
Acceptable. That is not acceptable, please. It's not accepted. This is one-sided, and I feel that we need to respect that one. I am making an application to you that let's hold this thing. Tomorrow, it will be the last day for the consideration.
Item numbered 1 at page 16 of today's order paper.
Mr. Speaker,
Anybody with authority to move the said amendment? Well, in the absence of authority to move the amendment, we should consider the amendment to abandon. Yes, item numbered 2, clause 59, page 16. Same is abandoned. Item numbered 3, clause 59. Also accordingly abandoned. Item numbered 4. Now let me put a question on entire clause 59. As many as are in favor of clause 59 standing part of the bill, say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 59 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 60.
Discharge of convicted person.
Anybody with authority to move the amendment on clause 60? Page 17, item number IV. In the absence of anybody to move the amendment, same is considered abandoned. Clause 60, item number V, page 17. Same is also abandoned. Clause 60, item number VI. Also in the name of Osahin Alexander Komina Avenue Markins. Anybody with authority to move the amendment? In the absence of anybody ready to move the amendment, same is also abandoned. I will therefore put a question on the entire clause 60. As many as are in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 60 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 61.
Guidelines.
Honourable Member. Very well, we've already taken 61, so we'll go to clause 62.
Regulations.
The proposed amendment is VII at page 18 of today's order paper. Anybody with authority ready to move the amendment? Honourable Member, same is abandoned. I'll put a question on clause 60. As many as are in favor say aye. I'll put a question on clause 62. As many as are in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 62 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 66.
Transitional provision.
Item numbered VII at page 18 of today's order paper. Who will move? In the absence of anybody ready to move, I'll put the same is considered abandoned. Then we'll move to item number IX, clause 66. Is anybody ready? Same is also abandoned. I will therefore put a question on the entire clause 66. As many as are in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 66 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now, the proposed amendment is X. Add the following new clauses. Is anybody ready? Having the authority to move the said amendment? Same is also abandoned. Now, XI. We've now come to the schedule.
Consequential amendment.
Yes, Chairman of the committee, the first schedule stands.
Mr. Speaker.
Stands in your name and it's in page 20 and 21.
Add the new schedule. Advertised in XII.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we add the new schedule as advertised in XI, Roman numeral XI.
As captured in page 20 and 21. The proposed amendment is moved and is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any further amendment? In the absence of any further amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now, the long title.
An act.
Mr. Speaker, there's one last one. To amend to insert second.
Yes. XII. Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, I move that XII, amendment proposed, insert second before schedule. I so move.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment by the chairperson of the committee to insert second before schedule to make it second schedule. Very well. I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now the long title.
An act to establish a national community service secretariat, provide for community service as an alternative to custodial sentencing for persons convicted for specified categories of offences and for related matters.
Yes, Chairman of the committee, any proposed amendment to the schedule?
No proposed amendment, Mr. Speaker.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment to the schedule? I'll put a question. In the absence of any proposed amendment. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The long title is ordered to stand part of the bill. Honourable members, we've come to the end of consideration stage of the Community Service Bill 2026. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I think we will do the rest tomorrow. We are finished, so we'll go to third reading tomorrow. The Minister for the Interior will come and then take the third reading tomorrow.
Yes, you have a motion number 12.
Who's a vice?
Yeah, sir. Right, Honourable Speaker, we'll take item number 12.
Unfortunately, I recall we mentioned it at conclave, but we don't have copies of the report.
This report has been laid and distributed.
I see.
Let's check the console. It's been hanging on the other paper for a very long time. Understand it has been on the console for a very long time.
I don't have a problem. They can proceed. You can proceed.
Yes, Chairman of the committee. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Ashai will present the report on behalf of the committee, with your indulgence.
Very well. You may move motion number 12.
Hello, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to move motion number 12 on the order paper for today. I move this Honorable House to adopt the report of the Committee on Independent Constitutional Bodies on the budget performance report in respect of the... Mr. Speaker, it should be motion number 13, Mr. Speaker. I crave your indulgence.
No, this is motion number 12. Independent constitutional bodies on the budget performance report in respect of the National Commission for Civic Education.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker.
For the period January to December 2024.
Yes, the report that is ready is for the Electoral Commission.
Yes, very
the
well.
report that is ready. And
so
the
we
report
take
has been
motion
loaded.
number 13
13. That's why
instead.
he's drawing attention.
So then you may move motion number 13.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for indulging me. I rise to move this Honorable House to adopt the report of the Committee on Independent Constitutional Bodies on the budget performance report in respect of the Office of the Electoral Commission for the period January to December 2024.
And in doing so,
Mr. Speaker, I want to invite the Hansard to capture the entire report as though it has been read in its entirety. But permit me to call attention to a few of the deliberations of your committee. As we are aware, the mandate of the EC is not lost on any of us in this chamber. The EC is mandated to manage all public elections and referenda and to handle all matters directly related to the conduct of elections in this country. I believe that we all know the place of EC in our democratic dispensation. And the Commission's functions are provided for by the Constitution and by its enabling act. And I think that over the years, the EC has performed that function very well. Mr. Speaker, particular mention is found on item 6.0B, and with your indulgence, I would want to read that. The EC mentioned a few challenges that they have faced in the course of 2024 performance. Of course, the report before us is the 2024 performance report. And they state that during the 2024 elections, there were a few infractions that we ought to be reminded of. So it serves as grounds for us to amend our ways and to improve the electoral process. Mr. Speaker, they indicated that some political parties disrupted the election process. They also indicated 2 EC offices that were burnt. Of course, we all know the challenge with CAPEX when it comes to our budgeting process. We find it difficult to allocate funds, and so if there are assets like office building are bent down, then we are worsening our already precarious situation. And so I want to draw the attention of the House that we must resolve to improve our electoral processes so we don't run into such situations where the limited resources of the state will be applied to redevelop or rebuild offices. Mr. Speaker, they made a point on CAPEX in 7.4 in your report, with your permission, I read. The committee observed that the EC expended an amount of 98.9 million on capital expenditure and sought clarity in this regard. The committee revealed that of the 98 million, 72.3 million was expended on procurement of biometric equipment. We know that biometric equipment are an essential tool or asset for elections, but if over 85% of their budget will go into that, then their infrastructure will be challenged. Mr. Speaker, I take you to conclude. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, your committee will call upon this House to consider the budgetary allocations for the EC, noting that the EC is an independent constitutional body. And whilst we admit that they must operate as an autonomous body, the EC is subject to oversight of Parliament. And so we must provide them with that oversight, not only when they have come before us, but also to ensure that they get the requisite resources and budgetary allocations for them to deliver on their mandate. And so I would want to call upon the House to adopt the report as presented. Thank you.
Honourable members, motion ably moved. The report presented. Any seconder?
Right Honourable Speaker, I second the motion.
Yes, after that, what do
Mr.
you say?
Speaker, in seconding the motion, let me make some comments on the report as submitted by the committee. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, one would like to look at some of the challenges that were outlined in the report, and I take you to paragraph 6.0, and it states that the main challenge the commission relate to is the inability to pay some suppliers and printing houses that provided critical services for the 2024 elections. We are in 2026, and if the EC's suppliers, those who have rendered services for us in the 2024 elections, have still not been paid, we'll be interested in knowing why budgetary releases have not been made to support such enterprise. Mr. Speaker, it again states that B, supporters of some political parties disrupted the collation of polling station results in some constituencies, which delayed the collation exercise. We are all in this country and we bear testimony to some of the incidents that occurred during the 2024 elections. Mr. Speaker, supporters of political parties, and rightly indicated here, disrupted the enterprise. It was reported to the police. Up till now, we still haven't had adequate information from the police service as to the status of those individuals and what has happened to them, and it creates a bad situation for us as a country. That was what has led into even by-elections and the confusions that erupted over there. It is very imperative that we take note of that and call on the Ghana Police Service to expedite action in this regard. Mr. Speaker, 2 district officers of the commission in Damangu and Ayinswan were bent. 2 EC officers were bent, and up till today, we've still not been able to get report on the status of these incidents. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't augur well for the democratic dispensation that we are in, and it is important that we take note of that. Mr. Speaker, it says that the commission, and this is what is even most alarming, that the commission has not been able to pay over 200,000 election officials who worked at the various polling stations and collation centers. And I come from Ifia constituency. When we had opportunity to engage the EC, this issue keeps on recurring. Why has government not paid officials of the individuals who supported in the 2024 elections? Why should we have people serve this country in various capacities as elections agents, representative of the Electoral Commission, and for 1.5 years in the term of this government, they've still not released funding to pay for the services of these 200,000 Ghanaians? How then do you call upon them to go and exercise another election in the near future? It is becoming one too many, Mr. Speaker, and it is important that this House make some consequential orders to the Minister for Finance to make those releases available to support the payment, particularly for the officials who perform various functions in the run-up to the 2024 elections. Mr. Speaker, this report has given us some insight into the operations of the Electoral Commission. If you check the compensation, it talked about excess expenditure over budget. Why would we still be having this phenomenon recurring over and over again? We need to strengthen, and we just discussed our fiscal discipline. We should be able to ensure that we work within our approved budget. It shouldn't be that you get a budgetary approval and you expend in excess by over 22 million. That is unacceptable. And then when you talk about staff recruitment, that also they have issues. Mr. Speaker, I believe that going forward as a house, this report is something that requires further scrutiny. It is important that the EC is made to account for the work that it does, but more importantly, government has to rise up to the occasion and make funds available to pay for some of the issues and the challenges that have been outlined. Mr. Speaker, without more, I want to second the motion that this honorable house adopts the report of the committee. And so,
very well, motion move report presented, and the motion accordingly seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. In the absence of anybody willing to debate, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the motion say yes.
Mr. Speaker, I crave your indulgence to put two statements across to address a few concerns. So, number one, this report...
You don't have that right. As many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion and the corresponding report by the independent constitutional bodies are accordingly adopted. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we have not done up to 5 hours yet. And wanted to take a few bills, but the sponsors of the bill are not immediately available. So I move that this House adjourns till tomorrow. $10 o'clock? 10 o'clock? Tomorrow, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. in the morning.
Yes, Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, I thought he would vary his motion because he earlier said 10, and I know there's a communication. So if you can vary, then I can. That's...
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adjourn till 12 in the noon tomorrow.
Yes.
Speaker, I'm happy to second this motion. Just to remind Leader, the last time you had winked to me that I should keep reminding you. Item 11 on page 6. I know we can't take it today. Obviously, we can't take it today. I'm just giving you a reminder. This matter is worrying, and we must put finality to it. So in your scheme of things, please ensure that we get it. Having said that, before I second the motion, you want to comment?
Yeah, we are looking at it, but in the light of the proposal to set up an independent emoluments commission, the advice that I'm receiving is that we hold on a bit because matters relating to conditions of service and pensions and etc. for every arm of government will now fall within the domain of the independent emoluments commission. So that's why I have been holding on to it.
Yes.
Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved by the Leader of the House.
Motion moved for adjournment, duly seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. I will then put a question. The question is, as many as are in favor of the motion for adjournment, say aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The House is accordingly adjourned till Friday, 26th June 2026 at 12 noon.